Today, we're going to look at emotional pain a little differently, not as something that's broken, but as a construction site. We're talking about the architecture of recovery, a real blueprint for building your way through hurt and actually coming out stronger on the other side. So let's get into it. This right here, this is our guiding principle. The whole point isn't to pretend something never happened. That's impossible. The goal is to build up our strength so we can carry it, so it becomes part of our story, but it's not the whole story. It doesn't control where we go next. This idea is the foundation for everything we're about to build.
All right, so first things first, the blueprint itself. Before we start digging, we have to understand what we're actually trying to build and why.
You know, any solid building has to start with a strong foundation. And for our emotional recovery, that foundation has two key parts: acknowledging what you're feeling, and then analyzing the stories that you're telling yourself about those feelings. Honestly, this first step is everything. Think of it like a simple 1-2 process. First, you just let yourself feel the thing. No judgment, no pushing it away. Then, you start the work of untangling what actually happened from the meaning your brain attached to it. It all starts with just letting that feeling be there. So, step 1 is literally just giving the feeling a name. Is it hurt? Is it anger? Jealousy? Maybe it's deep rejection or shame. Whatever it is, these aren't bad things you need to get rid of. They're just signals. They're messengers telling you something needs your attention. Just saying to yourself, okay, I feel angry, and that's valid, can be a total game changer.
And that's exactly why this is non-negotiable. Trying to just ignore your pain or pretend it's not there, it's like trying to build a beautiful house on top of a sinkhole. It's just not going to work. You have to acknowledge it to heal it. Okay, this distinction is so important. The facts are what a camera would have recorded, just the neutral, objective events. But the story, well, that's the meaning our mind slaps onto those facts. So the fact might be, I didn't get the promotion. The story our brain loves to tell is, see, I'm not good enough. I always get passed over. You see the huge difference there? Real healing starts the second we learn to question that story. All right, our foundation is poured. Now it's time to start framing the walls. This is the next phase, and it's all about building up your strength with daily protective habits. This is where we get our hands dirty with the actual construction work. But wait, before we can build up, we have to make sure we've stopped tearing things down. So you have to ask yourself this really honest question. Am I doing things, maybe without even realizing it, that are keeping this wound from healing? And here are some of the biggest culprits. You know what I'm talking about. Replaying that awful conversation over and over in your head, compulsively checking their social media to see what they're up to, or having those imaginary arguments in the shower where you finally say all the perfect things. It feels like you're doing something, but really, you're just picking at the scab and preventing it from healing. The first step is just noticing when you're doing it. So what should we do instead? How do we build that emotional muscle? Well, here are your building materials. Journaling, just getting those swirling thoughts out of your head and onto paper, can bring so much clarity. Physical movement, like going for a walk, isn't just a distraction. It literally helps your body process stress hormones. Breathing exercises, that's like a remote control for your nervous system to calm it down. And sleep. Please do not underestimate a good sleep routine. Exhaustion makes every single problem feel 1,000 times worse. And here's the key takeaway from all this. These habits aren't just fluffy self-care tips. They create actual biological changes in your brain and body. Healing isn't just happening in your mind. Your physical body is a massive part of the construction crew. Okay, so we've done the repair work. Now we get to the really exciting part, the redesign. This isn't just about getting back to who you were before. This is about using what you've been through to consciously decide who you want to become now. Now, a huge part of this redesign is often forgiveness. But, and this is a big but, probably not in the way we usually think of it. It is so important to understand that forgiveness is not you saying what happened was okay. And it definitely, absolutely does not mean you have to talk to that person ever again. This is what it's really about. Forgiveness is a selfish act in the best way possible. It's you for you. It's you declaring, I'm done. I'm not going to carry this weight, this poison anymore. I'm putting it down so I can be free. It's about your liberation, not theirs. You know, when we're stuck in pain, our brain just gets caught in this loop, right? Why me? Why did this happen?
It's a question that keeps us looking backward, keeps us anchored in that feeling of being a victim.
But watch what happens when we just change the question. Who do I want to become now? See how powerful that is? It's forward-looking. It takes the power away from the unchangeable past and puts it right back in your hands, in the present, to build your future.
And finally, let's talk about what it's like to actually live in this new emotional house you've built. Because, no building stays perfect forever without a little maintenance, and sometimes you need to call in a specialist. If you remember nothing else, please remember this. Healing is not a straight line. It's messy. There will be good days and bad days, and that is completely 100% normal. It is not a sign that you're failing. And this is just the reality of it. Some days, you're going to feel strong, like you've totally got this. And other days, a song or a smell will come out of nowhere and it'll hurt all over again. That doesn't mean all your hard work is gone. It just means you're a human being with a heart that remembers. And look, sometimes the renovation project is just too big to DIY. If you're dealing with sadness that just won't lift, if you've lost interest in everything you used to love, if you're feeling hopeless or you haven't had a good night's sleep in weeks, that's a signal. That's your cue to call in an expert, a therapist, a counselor, someone who has the professional blueprints. And let's be perfectly clear about this, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate sign of strength. It's you saying, this matters, and I'm smart enough to bring in a specialist. It's a courageous, powerful move. So we end up right back where we started, but with a whole new point of view. The ground has been cleared, the foundation is solid, and you have the tools in your hand. That painful experience doesn't have to be a ruin you're trapped in forever. It can be the foundation for whatever you decide to build next. So the only real question left is, what will you build?